Ardat-Lilî in Mesopotamian demonology. Ancient Mesopotamian mythology presents a rich and intricate tapestry of divine and demonic entities, each embodying specific forces, fears, or societal anxieties. Among these, Ardat-Lilî stands out as a particularly compelling figure, representing a distinct category of female demon with unique origins and behaviors. Understanding Ardat-Lilî requires a careful examination of cuneiform sources, which provide the foundational insights into her nature and significance within the broader Mesopotamian belief system. Overview of Ardat-Lilî. Ardat-Lilî, known in Sumerian as Kisakilala, is consistently characterized in ancient cuneiform texts as a type of female demon originating from ancient Mesopotamia. A central defining feature is her genesis. She is described as the ghost of a young woman who died without experiencing the crucial life milestones of sexual fulfillment or marriage. This unfulfilled state is presented as the primary driver for her subsequent actions, leading her to attempt to seduce young men in the world of the living. It is important to note that the term Ardat-Lilî does not typically refer to a singular, named individual demon, but rather to a category or family of such spirits. This is evidenced by the existence of multiple, varying origin stories for different Ardat-Lilî spirits, suggesting a classification of demonic entities rather than a specific mythological character with a singular biography. These entities were part of a larger class of supernatural beings identified by the linguistic root, a designation that also encompassed male and other female counterparts within Mesopotamian demonology. Significance within Mesopotamian belief systems. The conceptualization of Ardat-Lilî and her associated characteristics provides a window into the profound anxieties and societal values prevalent in ancient Mesopotamia. Rare very existence as a ghost stemming from an unfulfilled life underscores the paramount importance placed on marriage, sexual fulfillment, and procreation within Mesopotamian society. Dying without achieving these societal expectations was considered a profound misfortune, potentially leading to a restless afterlife. These troublesome ghosts were believed to return to the world of the living, driven by envy or malice, particularly if proper funerary rituals were neglected. This highlights not only the Mesopotamian understanding of the afterlife, but also the critical role of social and ritual adherence in ensuring peace for both the living and the dead. The consistent description of Ardat-Lilî and other demons as originating from individuals who died sexually unfulfilled, without marriage, or without children, directly links their demonic state to a failure to achieve key life milestones within Mesopotamian society. In a civilization where marriage, procreation, and the continuation of family lineage were fundamental for social stability, economic prosperity, and religious duties, dying without these accomplishments would have been perceived as a significant personal and communal failure. This societal pressure was externalized and manifested as a supernatural threat. The Ardat-Lilî myth, therefore, functions beyond merely explaining certain afflictions like seduction or disease. It serves as a potent social commentary, reinforcing cultural norms and implicitly warning against the dire consequences, even after death, of failing to fulfill one's expected societal role. These ghosts are not merely random malevolent entities. They are profound manifestations of collective societal anxieties concerning unfulfilled potential and disrupted social order, acting out the very desires they were denied in life. This reveals a deeply embedded psychological and sociological dimension to Mesopotamian demonology, where supernatural threats often directly mirrored human fears and cultural values. Mythological characteristics, behaviors. Ardat-Lilî's and roles. Ardat-Lilî's mythological profile is intricately linked to her origins as an unfulfilled spirit, shaping her unique behaviors, the afflictions she causes, and the countermeasures employed against her. 4.1. Nature as an unfulfilled ghost at her core. Ardat-Lilî is understood as the ghost of a young woman whose life was cut short before she could experience the fundamental societal rites of passage, sexual fulfillment, marriage, or the establishment of a family. This profound state of unfulfillment is not merely a biographical detail but the very essence of her being and the primary motivation behind her malevolent actions. The concept of Ardat-Lilî as a family or type of demon is reinforced by the varying origin stories attributed to individual spirits within this category. These narratives include specific details such as a young girl who never had a husband, a young girl who was snatched away from a husband, snatched away from a child, a young woman who was never impregnated, or a young girl who was driven from her father-in-law's house. Each of these diverse accounts reflects a distinct form of marital or familial deprivation, collectively illustrating the spectrum of unfulfilled lives that could lead to the manifestation of an Ardat-Lilî, further emphasizing her social exclusion. One incantation recounts that while alive, an Ardat-Lilî was unable to participate in a specific festival alongside other girls, likely a ritual event focused on young women. This detail highlights her isolation and the profound impact of her unfulfilled life on her existence as a demon. Role as a demonic seductress driven by the deep grief and desolation stemming from her unfulfilled earthly existence. Ardat-Lilî primarily targets young men, assuming the role of a demonic seductress. Her function in this regard is often compared to that of a succubus, an entity that preys on men through sexual means. The nature of her sexuality, however, is explicitly described as not a normal kind of sexuality. Mesopotamian texts indicate that a man does not engage with an Ardat-Lilî in the same manner as with his wife, implying that their encounters are non-procreative, potentially illusory, or inherently dangerous. She is depicted as a wandering spirit, ceaselessly searching for male companions to ensnare, often entering their houses through windows. This predatory behavior is further underscored by her inability to bear children. Moreover, if she were to offer her breast, it would yield poison instead of milk. This characteristic powerfully reinforces her barren and destructive nature, contrasting sharply with the life-giving role typically associated with female figures in Mesopotamian society. Associated afflictions and countermeasures. The malevolent influence of Ardat-Lilî is believed to manifest in various afflictions. She was associated with causing labu, a condition that has been interpreted by scholars in multiple ways, including a skin disease, a type of fever, psychiatric and neurological disorders, or a reference to an unidentified bodily fluid. Beyond physical ailments, she was also linked to psychological disturbances, specifically causing nightmares and disrupting sleep. To combat her malevolent effects and neutralize her threat, ancient Mesopotamian exorcism formulas were prescribed. A notable countermeasure involved the performance of a mock marriage, which was sometimes recommended as a ritual solution to problems caused by Ardat-Lilî. This practice suggests a ritual attempt to symbolically fulfill the demon's unquenched desire for marriage, thereby appeasing her and disarming her destructive power. Appearance. In contrast to many other Mesopotamian demons, who were often described with terrifying features such as being faceless, ever-changing, or strange, Ardat-Lilî was believed to possess an appealing appearance. This characteristic is directly instrumental to her primary role as a seductress, allowing her to lure young men and fulfill her destructive purpose. The portrayal of Ardat-Lilî as an appealing seductress, yet fundamentally defined by her sexual unfulfillment and inability to bear children, creates a profound paradox within Mesopotamian demonology. She lures men with her beauty and sexual allure, but cannot provide the expected outcomes of sexual union within Mesopotamian societal norms: marriage and children. This paradox reflects a deep-seated Mesopotamian understanding of sexuality, which was intrinsically linked to procreation and the maintenance of social order. A sexuality that existed outside the bounds of marriage and procreation was not merely illicit, but was perceived as inherently dangerous and sterile. The imagery of poisoned milk is particularly potent, symbolizing a grotesque perversion of the nurturing maternal role, transforming life-giving sustenance into a source of harm. This demon, therefore, embodies a significant societal fear of unproductive or deviant female sexuality. She represents the destructive potential of desires that are not channeled into socially sanctioned roles. The mock marriage prescribed in exorcism rituals is a ritualistic attempt to normalize her existence, to symbolically provide the social fulfillment she was denied in life, thereby disarming her malevolent power. This practice highlights how Mesopotamian magic aimed to address the root cause of demonic affliction by ritually rectifying the original societal transgression or misfortune that gave rise to the demon in the first place. The demon family, Ardat-Lilî, is not an isolated entity, but a distinct member of a broader class of Mesopotamian demons known as the demons. Comparative analysis of these figures reveals a sophisticated taxonomy of spirits, each with specific origins, characteristics, and targets, reflecting diverse societal anxieties. Overview of the demon class. The demons constitute a significant category of supernatural beings in Mesopotamian belief. They were consistently believed to be the ghosts of young individuals who died without experiencing sexual fulfillment, marriage, or the raising of children. This unfulfilled state condemned them to perpetually prowl the earth, seeking to interact with the living. The prominent demon Pazuzu was recognized as the king of the Lil, indicating a hierarchical structure within this demonic classification and suggesting his dominion over these restless spirits. Distinctions and relationships among demons. The family encompasses several distinct but related entities, differentiated primarily by the gender and marital familial status of the deceased individual from whom they originated. Ardat-Lilî. This demon is the ghost of an unwed young woman who died without sexual fulfillment or marriage. Her primary role is that of a demonic seductress, specifically targeting young men. It is explicitly stated that she has no association with children. Lyle. This is the masculine Akkadian term for a spirit or demon. He is identified as the ghost of a childless mature man. Lyle were often held responsible for illnesses afflicting girls and were considered dangerous to pregnant women and children. Lilith, serving as a female counterpart to Lyle. Lilith is the ghost of a childless mature woman. Lil Malutu. Lyle, she was believed to pose a threat to pregnant women and children and was associated with complications during childbirth and harm to infants. Galil. This figure represents the ghost of an unwed young man, Onashaku, while less commonly attested. This figure is also considered a potential member of the class. All these figures share the foundational origin of being spirits of individuals who died unmarried or childless, thereby being condemned to roam the earth. The clear differentiation of the demons by gender and age, marital status, coupled with their specific targeting patterns, reveals a sophisticated understanding of gendered anxieties within Mesopotamian society. Ardat-Lilî is the ghost of an unwed young woman preys on young men, reflecting societal fears surrounding disruptive, non-procreative female sexuality. Conversely, Lyle targets girls, and Lilith targets pregnant women and children. These targets represent the very populations or life stages that the demons themselves were denied in their mortal lives. This pattern points to a deep societal concern about the continuity of family lines and the inherent vulnerability of procreation. The inclusion of the phantom bridegroom, Ekalil, completes this picture, indicating that male sexual unfulfillment was also recognized as a source of demonic activity and societal disruption. This detailed classification of demons demonstrates a nuanced understanding of psychological and social anxieties, which were externalized into a coherent demonic taxonomy. The Mesopotamians did not merely conceive of generic ghosts. They developed specific types of spectral entities that directly reflected particular societal failures and fears related to marriage, sexuality, and lineage. The complementary nature of their roles, such as Ardat-Lilî as a succubus and Lilith as child harmers, suggests a comprehensive system for explaining misfortunes related to sexual and reproductive life, providing a structured framework for diagnosis and ritual intervention, like the mock marriages prescribed for Ardat-Lilî. Evolution and connection to later figures. The Lilith debate. The Mesopotamian demons, particularly Lilith and Ardat-Lilî, are frequently cited as the conceptual ancestors of the Jewish mythological figure Lilith. However, the precise nature of this connection and the extent of direct lineage are subjects of ongoing scholarly debate, revealing a complex process of cultural transmission and reinterpretation across millennia. The mythology and origins of Ardat-Lilî are deeply embedded within the complex, religious and social fabric of ancient Mesopotamia. As a female demon, fundamentally understood as the ghost of a young woman who died without experiencing sexual fulfillment or marriage, Ardat-Lilî embodies a profound societal anxiety concerning unfulfilled lives and disrupted social order. Her very existence reflects the paramount importance placed on marriage, procreation, and family continuity in Mesopotamian culture. The etymological roots of her name, particularly the Sumerian element, link her intrinsically to wind or spirit. Highlighting her ethereal, pervasive, and often unpredictable nature, this connection suggests that Ardat-Lilî, like other demons, was perceived as an embodiment of unseen forces, mirroring the elusive nature of the afflictions she caused.